Ladies and gentlemen, round 11, Indianapolis. It is in the books. And my, how the tables have turned.
It's heating up all over.
Dude, I felt pretty good when I got 3 picks right because I knew you were stressing.
I was not feeling good.
You and Anderson need to have a little talk, dude.
Yeah,
a little heart to heart.
I'd like to have a talk with him after that one. But
Well, we got a lot to talk about. Tomac, 6 out of 8 wins.
on fire.
Dunge
like
fading
always.
back to 3rd. And Mooskin
Back to it, back to his normal self.
definitely didn't get the memo that Dungy is in the championship battle.
No.
So we're going to kick it off with our race recap and our fantasy stats. So, dude, tell me, how did you feel knowing you were going to have to pick a punishment from our viewers out there?
I felt like turning the TV off really fast.
So what did you pick here? We
Went through the comments. Some were wild. Some were decent.
Punishments you might find in prison.
Yeah, a lot of them reminded me of prison-type punishments. I don't know if I could get down on too many of those, but so we went with Christian Turner's comments of the chops.
We had a lot of guys wanting to see Christian without a hat, so
You asked for it.
Yeah, you asked for it. Don't know if you're gonna like what you got, but you got no hat, and I made him put in a man bun.
I can't argue with it.
All right. Well, let's talk about race results here. Tomac. Now, I said 6 out of 8 wins. What I meant was 6 wins in the last 8 races. Dude is on fire.
It's almost crazy to not put him in first at this point.
What is your thought process if you don't, is what I'm curious.
You got to hope something crazy happens if he doesn't win. So
Dungy was a solid 2nd, but then faded back to 3rd, which I was happy with.
teammates battling.
Dude, Mooskin's on rails, fastest qualifier.
I didn't think he'd push him like that, but he did, and I'm happy he did. I mean, I think it'd be worse if he didn't. So
Yeah,
he was
I know.
clearly faster.
I think it's cool. He's faster. I think that's how it should be.
Yep.
And then, dude, shout out to Blake Baggett, 4th place finish. He wasn't 3rd, fell, but still got 4th. So that guy is fine. And then Mr. Free Point Seeley
Back in.
back in. Nice. All right, well, dude, give us some stats.
Well, we looked over the picks from last week, and the average score was 36, so a little above the season average. We only had 1 perfect score, which that makes 2 perfect scores over the last 4 rounds. That's 2 perfect scores in almost 250,000 picks, so pretty hard to do. The lowest wild card percentage of the season at 1.5. My boy Anderson, I'm sure, helped with a lot of that. Only 2% had the top 5 in their top 5. And the cool stat on the leader of the whole game is only averaging 59 points a week. So
Yeah.
you did better than that this week.
So if you
So
think
you're always
you're
in
out, you're always in it. You have
Takes
one,
one good week.
or if the leaders have one bad week, they drop way down. So you guys, don't give up. Even if you feel like you don't have a shot, trust me.
A lot of rounds left.
A lot of rounds left. A couple good weeks can just bump
Double
you right
points
back
round
up.
coming up soon, so
Yeah.
stick in there.
All right, now injuries. We got Pike. Webb is going to be back this weekend. Remember that. Jimmy Albertson is out. James Stewart, still no show. Breaking my heart.
Yeah.
And, of course, Kenny Roxon.
Yeah. Looks like he's doing good, though. Got the hardware out
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
But we do have a new category this week. Real quickly, we call it the Studs and Duds of the Week.
Some shout outs to a few riders that were, standouts. Who do you got?
Well, let's talk about our dud first.
That's a shared trophy this week. I will take half of it. I feel like Anderson should take half as well.
What percentage of people put him in their top 5?
It was 70% or so.
Like
So a lot of
70%.
people lost points, especially me who picked him for first.
So Anderson gets the Dud Award, but our stud, Mr. 7 Deuce Deuce,
Coming in strong. I mean, never say die. 2 spots
Did
out.
you see the double horns? he
Yeah,
put
that
up
was
after?
awesome. I think that was the loudest I've got all season. when
I
he
was pretty
pulled in and
pumped.
took
It
the
was
last
like he
spot.
had just won the main event.
Yeah,
So our stud award goes out to you, Mr. Adamante Knapp.
that was awesome.
All right, so next up, we got to talk about Detroit and our track trends.
All right, so we're heading into round 12, another East Coast round in Detroit. A little bit of history there. Honda and Yamaha tied with the most wins at 19. KTM technically has never won a 450 race after the Dungy penalty last year.
Yeah, he crossed the line at first, but got docked 2 positions for jumping the red flag.
Controversial
Yep.
thing last year. And there's a lot of cool things that stand out on the track. What do you like?
Yeah, well, whoop section right into a 180 sand, and I quote Tomac from last year saying he loved the sand section, wanted to see more of them. So he's going to rail you there. Dragon back to Dragon's back.
Mm-hmm.
And
with a lot of speed off that bull turn in the stands.
Yeah,
So.
and huge start straight. A long start going all the way up in that big bull turn up on the hill. So could favor a few riders that have been really good off the start gate. So
Oh, yeah.
I think it's going to be a great race. And, dude, with the way the championship battle is heating up,
This is a wild track.
Oh, dude,
so
I
I'm
love
excited,
it. It's going to be, yeah, if you guys haven't yet, check out the track map. Interesting track. I think it's going to be good. So next up, we got to talk about the goods. We got to get into our point battle. All right, so for the points battle, we're not going to talk about the Dunge or Tomac too much because top three. Yeah, it's pretty clear where people are putting Dungy, Tomac. The real question is, I'm surprised with Anderson and Baggett. 70%
Picking Anderson
top 5 gets 9th. You know how that feels.
Yeah.
And 30% pick Baggett, and that was it. What do you think? Flip-flop it?
I almost think it's crazy if you don't at this point. I mean, Anderson's starts have been 9th or worse the last 4 races where Baggett's taken 2 or 3 hole shots. He's got the 4th best average finish on the East.
Anderson's got the 7th best average.
Yeah, if you're leaving Baggett out, I'd question that. I'd really think about that one when you're putting your picks in.
I want to know from you guys, comment below, is Baggett the new solid top 5 guy, or do you still put a little bit of faith in Mr. Anderson?
It's rough right now. I still love the guy.
But I'm saying right now, put Baggett in your top 5, solid pick. You cannot go wrong. Yep. The stats are backing that up. That's not my heart. Those are statistics. You guys can take it for what it is.
When we get to Sealy, just a safe bet. Make sure he's in there somewhere.
Safe point Sealy.
Yeah.
All right, so next up, we got to talk about our spoilers because there are a few that are worth mentioning this week, riders that could possibly bust into the top 5.
All right, so for Detroit, I got a couple riders that are on the fringe. Maybe they should be, maybe they shouldn't, that I'm thinking about putting in my top 5. First one is Chad Reed. Barely even heard from him lately, but his last 4 finishes have been 7, 4, 6, and 7. And his average start for the last 4 races has been 5th place. So he's up there. He took 4th in Detroit last season. He likes that track.
So if you're a Reed fan, could be the week he does it.
He's got to make it sometime. And another one, Marvin, all over the map, Musquin.
You've got him as a spoiler?
I've got him as a spoiler. He's just finished from 2nd to 15th. I know he was sick, but it looks like he's probably
fastest dude on the track.
Yeah, he's
last
probably
week.
a safe bet at this point. So I like him. Only 18% got him correct in 2nd last week, so he's definitely not sick. And he took 2nd there last year, so the big whoops might not be that big of a deal.
Okay.
What are the riders you got?
Well, Mr. Cooper Webb is making his return. He was injured, out for a few weeks. My only fear is if Webb still has the condition. I know they don't lose it a whole lot, but still, 2-3 weeks off the bike or not riding a whole lot and not racing makes a huge difference.
We had like 27 laps. So.
Yeah, but Cooper Webb, before he got hurt, did have 2 top 5s, 1 podium. So if you're feeling like taking a risk, put him in your top 5. And then the other one has got Davey Millsaps. So on the West Coast, his average was 9th. On the East,
cut it down.
Our average start is 5.75.
Yeah.
And dude, he's hovering around the top 5 every week. So if any one of those solid top 5 guys were to have a bad race, I feel like Millsaps is just the next one that could creep in.
Watch his qualifying. He's finishing about 2 spots better than where he qualifies on the East.
All right, so you guys have heard it. If you are needing to make up points, take a gamble. These might not be bad choices, but I want to know, who do you guys think is going to crack the top 5? Because it's getting later in the season. You got to take some risks.
Nope.
Got to take some risks.
Oh, not too. You just got to pick the
Sometimes
right
they don't
week.
pay
This
off,
might
though.
be it. Yep.
All right, well, next up, wild card this week is going to be 11th place, and that's what we're going to talk about next. So going into this week, Elvis, I'm also good.
Take me back to my roots where I grew up in Vegas. So.
Well, 11th place, but we have an interesting stat about the wild card. What is it?
For the season, on average, the rider who's taken the wild card spot has qualified 1 spot behind the wild card spot.
So watch qualifying times.
Watch riders behind the wild
gap
card
is shrinking.
spot.
It was like 2 or more.
2 or 3 weeks ago, it was about 3%. It's been shrinking down to 1. And another fun fact: the wild card correct percentage over the last 4 weeks has went from 11% to 9% to 6% to the lowest of the season, 1.5. So I'm predicting a big wild card points.
And if you get, so that means if you get the wild card correct, you're making a big jump in points. Yeah. So this week, I've got Mr. JG33, Mr. Josh Grant.
I had him last week, 9th. He was up there, and what happened? He kind of fell back. So
average finish on the East for him is 11. Last 3 finishes have been 11, 8, 13.
He's right in there.
And his average start's 11.8. So that's who I got. What do you got?
I'm going with Dean Big Willie style Wilson.
Big Willie style.
His average finish on the East so far is 11.5. He's taken 11th 3 times this season. He's been finishing 4 spots back from where he qualifies, so maybe watch that.
So he's taken it 3 times. Josh has taken it 2 times.
And both of those riders have only been to, or they've been in every main but they've gone to a semi. They've only been to one LCQ each.
All right.
So they are making the mains.
All right.
So other
those-
riders to watch out for.
Justin Brayton, I think, is another good
I'm
one.
going to watch him. I'm going to watch Bogle, Alessi, maybe
Barsha.
Maybe Barsha, yeah.
It's hard. Dude, the wild card is hard.
You got to watch qualifying. Watch our guys on Supercross Live, Bauer and Holly. They will hook you up, give you all the stats you need. So
All right. Well, those are our wild card picks. You know what time it is.
time to lock them in.
Okay, so before we lock them in, we want to talk to you viewers out there, give you some advice here. Interesting stat from last week. 6 out of the 10 weekly prize winners,
Top scores.
top scorers, put their picks in the day of the race, so on
Or
Saturday.
adjusted them, yeah. So they're
Or
waiting
adjusted 'em.
till race day to lock them in.
Yeah, they're watching qualifying times and then putting their picks. So the other 4 had their picks in at least 2 days before the race. So what does that tell you? It tells me you got to watch qualifying times.
Yeah.
So Christian and I, we've always made our top 5 picks. We've not touched them, even if we saw our riders doing terrible in
It's
qualifying.
ended good and bad. I don't know.
It can be good and bad if you want that timestamp. So this week we're going to mix it up just a little bit.
We're going to let the reins back a bit.
Yeah, so we are going to make our top 5 picks. If we have, what we're allowed to do this week is one rider we can take out of the top 5 and replace him depending on where they're at with qualifying.
We'll watch our boys, Bauer and Holly.
Yep.
Make our last-minute picks there and watch our group chat board. We might be giving a little last-minute advice, talk to you guys. We always like to hear what you guys are thinking, too, after that.
So join our group, Team RMATVMC. You will see our picks, but also if we make changes, we're going to tell you and why we did it. So, all right, we got to lock them in. Now, I'll go first.
Yeah, let's do that.
Dude, I just went with pretty safe bet. What I literally did was took the top 5 finishers from last week, and I put them into this week.
Staying as safe as
I've
possible.
got Tomac, Muskin, Dungey. Then I got Mr. Blake Baggett again in 4th, Cole Seeley, but my wild card is going to be Josh Grant. What do you got?
I learned my lesson last week. I got a little wild with my picks, and it ended really badly.
Well, you had what? All 5?
I had 4 of the top
4?
5 in there.
None in the right spot.
None. I mean, I think that's harder to do than get one right.
That's bad
so
luck.
somehow I did it, but
Okay.
this week I'm going a lot safer. I'm kind of similar to your picks. I'm going Tomac, Muskin, Dungey in 3rd, Seeley in 4th, Baggett in 5th, Dean Wilson in the wild card.
All right. So you guys have heard it. Those are our top 5 for this coming week. Round 12, Ford Field, Detroit.
Let's get some points.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. Now, as always, we have some good weekly prizes, so let's do our prize recap.
All right, Detroit has 10 great weekly prizes like always. Bell Moto 9 Carbon Flex helmet with the MX vs ATV Supercross Encore game. 2 sets of Pirelli Scorpion MX32 tires. TCXX Helium Michelin boots.
That's right. We got Stiller MX hooking it up. A Chirby's full plastic kit. Nixon watch this week.
Coming
Nice.
in hot.
Pro Honda prize pack, ODI bars and grips. Scott's giving some goggles away and EVS. A little casual package getting ready for summer.
Yeah, look right. Get yourself ready for a ride, it sounds like. So.
All right, so there it is. You guys have seen the weekly prizes. Don't forget, you can win those at any time throughout the year, so get signed up. And also, we want you to comment below. We want to know how you guys are making that wild card pick, because that, in our opinion, is the hardest pick to make.
It's a good pick.
We want to know what your strategy is, so comment below. Let us know how you're doing it. I am Chase.
I'm Christian.
We'll see you next week. Uh-huh.